My name is Seraphina, and at 28 I thought I understood my family dynamics. That illusion shattered when my younger brother accidentally sent me the group chat invitation meant for everyone except me. My parents had planned a luxury Hawaiian vacation for the entire extended family, cousins, aunts, uncles, even distant relatives I barely knew. Everyone received golden invitations except their eldest daughter. The betrayal cut deeper than any knife, but what they discovered about my secret life would make them regret this decision forever. Before we dive into this family drama that will leave you questioning everything about blood loyalty, let me ask, where are you watching from today? If you are ready to witness the most satisfying family revenge story that proves karma always comes full circle, smash that like button and subscribe, because this tale of family betrayal and sweet justice will keep you glued to your screen until the very last word. The group chat screenshot burned into my retinas as I stared at my phone screen that Tuesday morning. My brother Marcus had meant to forward a meme to his girlfriend, but accidentally sent it to me instead. The message thread was titled Hawaii Family Trip, Final Headcount, and contained weeks of planning discussions I had never seen. My mother Patricia had written detailed messages about booking 17 rooms at the Grand Wailea Resort. My father Robert shared flight itineraries and excursion plans. Cousins I had not spoken to in years were actively participating, discussing snorkeling trips and luau reservations. Even my estranged Aunt Dorothy, who had feuded with the family for decades, was enthusiastically planning her wardrobe for the 10-day tropical getaway. The conversation revealed meticulous planning spanning 3 months. They had coordinated work schedules, arranged pet care, and even planned surprise elements for my grandparents' 60th wedding anniversary celebration, the supposed reason for this grand reunion. Every family member from 3 generations was included in this elaborate scheme, except me. My hands trembled as I scrolled through message after message. My younger sister Emma had suggested hiring a professional photographer to capture family portraits on the beach. My cousin Jake shared links to private yacht charters. The depth of their planning made the exclusion feel deliberately calculated rather than an innocent oversight. The most devastating message came from my grandmother, Nana Ruth, asking, "Should we tell Seraphina about the surprise anniversary party, or keep it secret until we return?" My mother's response chilled me to the bone. She has been so distant lately, probably too busy with her mysterious life to join us anyway. Let us celebrate as a real family. My mysterious life. The phrase echoed in my mind as I sat in my downtown Chicago apartment, surrounded by the trappings of what they considered my failure. They saw my modest lifestyle, my reluctance to discuss work details, my absence from family gatherings as signs of personal inadequacy. They assumed I was struggling, perhaps working multiple part-time jobs to make ends meet, too proud to ask for help or admit my shortcomings. The irony was suffocating. For the past 4 years, I had deliberately maintained this facade, allowing them to believe I was the family disappointment while I built something extraordinary. The truth about my professional success would shock them, but their betrayal had just transformed my protective secrecy into a weapon of mass destruction. I called Marcus immediately, my voice steady despite the emotional tornado raging inside me. "You sent me something interesting this morning," I said, keeping my tone carefully neutral. His sharp intake of breath confirmed my suspicions. "Sarah, I am so sorry, that was not meant for you." Look, it is complicated, and Mom and Dad thought. They thought what exactly? I interrupted, surprised by the ice in my own voice. Marcus stammered through an explanation that made everything worse. The family had voted. Actual voting. They had discussed my inclusion during Sunday dinner at our childhood home, weighing my worthiness like judges, deliberating a verdict. The consensus was unanimous. Seraphina was too different, too secretive, too removed from family values to deserve inclusion in their paradise celebration. The final nail in the coffin came when Marcus revealed their financial justifications. Dad said 17 people was already stretching the budget, and since you never contribute to family events anyway, it made sense to keep the group intimate. They had calculated the cost of my exclusion down to the dollar, determining that my presence was not worth the investment. After ending the call, I sat in stunned silence in my penthouse apartment overlooking Lake Michigan. They had no idea that their struggling daughter owned this luxury space outright along with 2 other investment properties. They could not fathom that their secretive child had built a multi-million-dollar consulting firm specializing in corporate crisis management. My deliberately modest appearance during family visits, my careful deflections about work, my refusal to discuss finances, all protective measures to maintain peace and avoid the jealousy and demands that would inevitably follow such revelations. I had learned from watching wealthy relatives become family ATMs constantly pressured for loans and investments that destroyed relationships. But their cruelty had just changed everything. The family that had shaped my cautious approach to success had now revealed their true opinion of me. Their exclusion was not about budget constraints or space limitations. It was about their fundamental belief that I was unworthy of their love and celebration. As evening shadows stretched across my floor-to-ceiling windows, a plan began forming in my mind. They wanted to celebrate as a real family without me. Perfect. Let them enjoy their vacation while I orchestrated the most elegant revelation of their lifetime. They would discover exactly who they had excluded from their paradise, and the knowledge would poison every sunset they watched without me. The next morning I began making phone calls that would reshape our family dynamic forever. My assistant Jennifer cleared my calendar for the following week. My attorney David prepared documents that would make my financial success impossible to ignore. My publicist Maria crafted a media strategy that would ensure my professional achievements became very public knowledge. But the most important call went to my grandmother's private line. Nana Ruth deserved to know the truth about her granddaughter before she celebrated her anniversary surrounded by people who had systematically excluded me from their definition of family. The conversation that followed would plant the first seeds of the reckoning that was coming. Nana Ruth's voice cracked when I told her about the group chat revelation. "Oh, sweetheart, I had no idea they were planning to exclude you. I just thought you were busy with work and could not make it." Her genuine confusion confirmed what I suspected. My parents had orchestrated this exclusion without consulting the family matriarch whose anniversary they claimed to be celebrating. "Nana, there is something important I need to tell you about my work." I began choosing my words carefully. "I have not been entirely honest about my career because I wanted to avoid family complications." The silence stretched for several heartbeats before she spoke. "You are successful. Are you not really successful? I could tell by the way you carry yourself lately, the confidence in your voice when you talk about your projects." Her intuition stunned me. While my parents saw failure, my grandmother had recognized the subtle markers of achievement I thought I had hidden. "I own a crisis management consulting firm. We handle reputation recovery for Fortune 500 companies. Last year, my personal income exceeded $2 million. Nana Ruth's sharp laugh surprised me. "Those foolish children. They have no idea what they have done, do they?" We talked for 2 hours, and she revealed family secrets that reframed everything I thought I knew about our dynamics. My parents had been struggling financially for years, leveraging their home equity to maintain appearances. The Hawaii vacation was funded through a combination of credit cards and a loan against my father's retirement account. They had excluded me not just from cruelty but from financial desperation. They literally could not afford my participation while maintaining their facade of prosperity. The revelation should have generated sympathy, but instead, it crystallized my resolve. They had chosen pride and appearances over honesty and inclusion. Rather than asking for help or admitting their struggles, they had painted me as unworthy and celebrated my absence as a financial relief. Nana Ruth became my unexpected ally in what she began calling the Great Revelation. She suggested a plan that was both elegant and devastating. Let them enjoy their vacation while we prepared a welcome home surprise that would forever change their perspective on family worthiness. The first phase involved strategic positioning. I contacted the local newspaper Society editor Sharon Matthews, who owed me a favor after I had helped her publication navigate a defamation lawsuit the previous year. "I am ready to do that feature story you have been requesting about young entrepreneurs in Chicago," I told her, "but I want it published next week, while I am sure my family will be paying attention to local news." Sharon was thrilled. The story would highlight my firm's recent success in managing the reputation crisis for a major automotive company, complete with professional photos of me in my downtown office and quotes about my innovative approach to corporate crisis resolution. The timing would ensure my parents saw the article while lounging on Hawaiian beaches celebrating their daughter's absence. The second phase required more delicate orchestration. I contacted my client Thomson Industries, whose CEO had been expressing gratitude for my team's work in resolving their recent public relations nightmare. "Richard, you mentioned wanting to do something special to thank our firm. I have an idea that would serve both our purposes." Within days, Richard Thompson agreed to host a recognition dinner for my company, inviting prominent business leaders and media representatives to acknowledge our innovative work. The event would take place the evening my family returned from Hawaii, creating a stark contrast between their celebration of my exclusion and the community's celebration of my achievements. My assistant Jennifer coordinated every detail with military precision. Professional photographers carefully selected guest lists, strategic media coverage, all designed to create maximum impact when my parents inevitably learned about the event they had missed by excluding their eldest daughter. But the most crucial element involved my grandmother's anniversary gift. Nana Ruth had suggested something that would honor her milestone while exposing the hollowness of their Hawaii celebration. "They are throwing me a party in paradise to celebrate 60 years of marriage," she said, her voice dripping with irony. "But you are going to show them what real family celebration looks like." I arranged for the Chicago Botanic Gardens' most exclusive venue to host a proper anniversary celebration for my grandparents, complete with all the elements their Hawaii trip lacked: elegance, thoughtfulness, and genuine family unity. The invitations would go out to extended family members who could not afford the Hawaiian vacation, creating an inclusive celebration that highlighted the exclusionary nature of my parents' approach. The guest list expanded beyond family to include business associates, community leaders, and friends who understood the value of honoring elder family members. The contrast would be unmistakable. While my parents celebrated in an exclusive bubble, I would demonstrate how successful people actually honor their families. During this planning phase, I received daily updates about their Hawaii activities through social media posts that felt increasingly tone-deaf. Pictures of lavish dinners, private beach excursions, and family bonding moments filled my feeds, each image carefully curated to showcase their perfect family unit. The absence of any mention of missing family members made their exclusion feel even more deliberate and cruel. My sister Emma posted a group photo with the caption, "Complete family bliss in paradise," while my brother Marcus shared videos of their private luau with comments about the best family vacation ever. Each post felt like a calculated reminder that they were celebrating without me, reinforcing their decision to define family worthiness by their own narrow standards. The most painful post came from my father, sharing a sunset photograph with a lengthy caption about gratitude for family bonds and the importance of surrounding yourself with people who truly matter. The hypocrisy was staggering, celebrating family bonds while deliberately excluding a family member, expressing gratitude while demonstrating conditional love. But their social media celebration was providing me with ammunition for the revelation that awaited them. Each post about their perfect family vacation would soon stand in stark contrast to their discovery of what they had excluded from their lives. The daughter they considered unworthy was orchestrating a demonstration of worth that would redefine their understanding of success, family, and consequences. As their vacation entered its final phase, my preparations reached completion. The newspaper article was scheduled for publication, the recognition dinner was fully planned, and my grandmother's anniversary celebration promised to showcase everything their exclusive gathering had failed to achieve. The stage was set for their return, and the education that awaited them would transform our family dynamics forever. While my family basked in Hawaiian sunshine, posting their picture-perfect moments across social media platforms, I was orchestrating the most comprehensive revelation campaign of my career. Every crisis management skill I had honed over years of corporate consulting was now focused on a single target, demonstrating to my parents exactly what they had excluded from their lives. The Chicago Tribune article published on Thursday morning strategically timed when I knew my family would be checking local news during their morning coffee routine in paradise. Sharon Matthews had crafted a masterpiece that exceeded my expectations. The headline read, local entrepreneur's crisis management firm saves major corporation millions, with a stunning professional photograph of me in my corner office, Lake Michigan sparkling in the background. The article detailed how my firm Clarity Crisis Solutions had successfully navigated Thompson Industries through their recent environmental scandal, preventing billions in potential losses and preserving thousands of jobs. The piece included quotes from industry leaders calling my approach revolutionary and the future of corporate reputation management. Most importantly, it mentioned my upcoming recognition dinner and my recent acquisition of a second consulting firm in New York. My phone began buzzing within hours. Text messages from distant relatives who had seen the article expressing shock and pride. Colleagues and clients sharing congratulations on the well-deserved recognition. But the most satisfying notifications came from family members still lounging on Hawaiian beaches, frantically trying to process this new information about their excluded daughter. My cousin Jake was the first to reach out directly. "Sarah, I had no idea about your success. This article is incredible. I feel terrible about the vacation situation now." His message opened the floodgates. Within hours, family members who had participated in my exclusion were sending awkward messages that ranged from genuine apology to transparent attempts at damage control. But my parents remained silent, their social media posts continuing without acknowledgement of the article that was reshaping how everyone viewed their decision. Their stubborn refusal to address their mistake only strengthened my resolve to ensure the lesson was thoroughly learned. Nana Ruth called that evening, her voice bubbling with pride and mischievous satisfaction. "The whole family is talking about nothing else. Your mother called me 3 times today, trying to downplay the significance of your achievements. She keeps saying the article must be exaggerated, that newspapers always embellish these stories for dramatic effect." Her denial was predictable, but infuriating. Even confronted with undeniable evidence of my success, she chose to rationalize rather than acknowledge her error in judgment. The psychological defense mechanism revealed the depth of their investment in viewing me as the family disappointment. "There is more, Nana," Ruth continued. "Your father has been researching your company online all day. He discovered your office building, your client list, your professional awards. He knows the truth now, but he is too proud to admit his mistake publicly." This intelligence was invaluable. Their private acknowledgement of my success, combined with their public silence, indicated they understood the magnitude of their exclusion, but were committed to maintaining their narrative rather than facing the consequences of their actions. My grandmother had been working her own angles during their vacation, subtly sharing details about my achievements with extended family members who had been included in the Hawaiian celebration. Her strategic gossip campaign was creating internal pressure within their paradise bubble, forcing conversations about their exclusion decision that they could no longer avoid. The recognition dinner preparations intensified as the week progressed. Thompson Industries had enthusiastically expanded the scope, inviting Chicago's business elite to celebrate innovative crisis management. The guest list now included CEOs from major corporations, city council members, and media executives who rarely attended such events. My publicist Maria had worked her magic securing coverage from 3 local television stations and 2 business publications. The dinner would not be a quiet professional gathering, but a significant social event that would be impossible for my parents to ignore or dismiss. The most powerful addition to the evening came through an unexpected connection. Senator Patricia Williams, whose campaign I had advised during a recent ethics investigation, agreed to attend and present a commendation for my contributions to Illinois business leadership. Her presence would elevate the event beyond business recognition into civic honor, making my parents' exclusion decision appear even more short-sighted. But the centerpiece of my strategy remained my grandparents' anniversary celebration, scheduled for the weekend following their return. The Chicago Botanic Garden venue had been transformed into an elegant celebration space that would rival any Hawaiian resort setting. Professional musicians, gourmet catering, and floral arrangements created an atmosphere of sophisticated family celebration. The guest list for the anniversary party represented everything my parents' vacation had failed to achieve. Family members who had been excluded from Hawaii due to financial constraints were invited with full accommodations covered. Friends of my grandparents, who had been left out of the tropical celebration, would be honored guests. Community leaders who respected my grandparents' contributions would add dignity to the occasion. Most significantly, I had arranged for a surprise element that would demonstrate the difference between exclusionary celebration and inclusive honor. Professional videographers would capture testimonials from family members and friends, creating a documentary-style tribute to my grandparents' 60-year marriage that would preserve their legacy far beyond any vacation. Photos. The contrast was deliberate and devastating. While my parents had celebrated family bonds in an exclusive paradise, I would demonstrate how successful people actually honor their families, with inclusion, generosity, and lasting tribute rather than temporary indulgence. As their vacation entered its final weekend, the social media posts began revealing cracks in their paradise facade. Group photos showed forced smiles and awkward positioning. Captions became shorter and less enthusiastic. The family members who had learned about my achievements were clearly struggling to maintain the celebration atmosphere while processing their participation in my exclusion. My brother, Marcus, finally sent a direct message that revealed the internal dynamics. The whole trip has become weird since that article came out. Everyone keeps bringing up your success, and mom and dad are getting defensive. Some cousins are saying they feel bad about the whole situation. The family group chat has been inactive for 2 days because every conversation turns into arguments about whether excluding you is fair. Their paradise had become a pressure cooker of guilt, regret, and family tension. The very celebration meant to reinforce their family bonds was now exposing the toxicity of their exclusionary mindset. Each remaining day in Hawaii was poisoned by the knowledge of what they had excluded from their lives. The final phase of my strategy activated during their last night in paradise. I arranged for a delivery of flowers to their hotel room with a card that read, "Congratulations on your wonderful family vacation. I hope you created beautiful memories together. Looking forward to seeing you at Nana and Papa's anniversary celebration next weekend, where we will honor 60 years of true family commitment. With love, Seraphina." The message was carefully crafted to be gracious, while highlighting their exclusion, generous, while demonstrating my superiority, loving while exposing their conditional affection. Nana Ruth later told me that the flower delivery created their first open family argument of the vacation, with younger family members questioning why I had been excluded from their celebration, while I was planning a celebration for the family matriarch they claimed to honor. Their flight home was scheduled for Tuesday morning, landing them directly into the reality of their consequences. The recognition dinner awaited on Tuesday evening. The anniversary celebration promised to redefine family celebration standards, and their daughter was no longer the secretive disappointment they had excluded from their paradise. The stage was perfectly set for their education in the true meaning of family worthiness, and the lessons they were about to learn would reshape our relationships forever. Their vacation was ending, but their real education was just beginning. Now I know what you are thinking. Did my family finally understand the gravity of their mistake? Are you wondering how they reacted when they discovered the full extent of what they had excluded from their Hawaiian paradise? Stay with me, because what happens next will show you exactly how karma delivers justice when family betrayal meets undeniable success. Tuesday evening arrived with the precision of a Swiss watch, and everything I had orchestrated was falling into place perfectly. My family had landed at O'Hare that morning, their sun-kissed faces quickly losing their vacation glow as reality crashed down around them. The recognition dinner at the Palmer House Hilton was about to begin, and I was ready to make my entrance. The ballroom buzzed with Chicago's business elite, exactly as Maria had promised. CEOs, politicians, media executives, and community leaders filled the elegant space, all gathered to celebrate my firm's innovative approach to crisis management. The irony was delicious. My parents had excluded me from their family celebration, and now I was being celebrated by the city's most influential people. I had chosen my outfit carefully, a midnight blue silk dress that commanded respect without appearing ostentatious, paired with the pearl necklace my grandmother had given me for my college graduation. Professional, elegant, and utterly confident, exactly the image I wanted to project when my family inevitably learned about this event. Senator Patricia Williams took the podium first, delivering remarks about innovative business leadership that exceeded my expectations. Seraphina's approach to crisis management has not only saved corporations millions of dollars, but has preserved thousands of jobs across Illinois. Her work represents the best of American entrepreneurship and community service. The applause was thunderous, but what mattered most was the live stream Maria had arranged through the Chicago Business Network. My parents would be watching this from their modest suburban home, still unpacking their Hawaiian vacation memories while witnessing their excluded daughter being honored by the state's political leadership. Thompson Industries CEO Richard followed with a presentation that detailed exactly how my firm had saved his company from potential bankruptcy. When we faced the environmental scandal that threatened to destroy our reputation, Seraphina and her team developed a strategy that not only preserved our business, but actually enhanced our standing in the community. Their work was nothing short of miraculous. The numbers he shared were staggering: $2.7 billion in prevented losses, 4,000 preserved jobs, and a complete transformation of public perception within 6 months. The audience was genuinely impressed, and several competitors approached me during the cocktail hour with business propositions that would have doubled my firm's revenue. But the evening's pinnacle came when Mayor Johnson presented me with the key to the city, recognizing my contributions to Chicago's business community. Young entrepreneurs like Seraphina represent the future of our great city. Her success demonstrates that innovation, integrity, and hard work still create extraordinary opportunities in America. As cameras flashed and the crowd applauded, my phone vibrated with increasingly frantic messages from family members who were watching the live coverage. My cousin Emma texted Sarah, "We are all watching this on TV. This is incredible. I cannot believe you never told us about your success." My brother Marcus was more direct. "Mom and Dad are sitting here in complete shock. They keep asking why you never told them about your achievements. The whole Hawaii thing looks really bad now." But the most satisfying message came from Nana Ruth. "Watching you accept that key from the mayor brought tears to my eyes. Your parents are sitting in their living room, surrounded by Hawaiian souvenirs, finally understanding what they excluded from their paradise. Your father has not spoken since the ceremony began." The evening concluded with a surprise announcement that elevated my status even further. The Illinois Business Council revealed that I had been selected as Young Entrepreneur of the Year, an honor that would be formally presented at their annual gala in December. The recognition came with a substantial grant for expanding my firm's community outreach programs and automatic inclusion in the state's Economic Development Advisory Committee. As the crowd dispersed, media interviews kept me busy for another hour. Local television reporters wanted quotes about my innovative crisis management techniques, while business journalists probed about my firm's expansion plans. Every interview was broadcast live or recorded for evening news programs, ensuring maximum visibility for my parents' education. The drive home to my penthouse provided the first quiet moment to process the evening's success. My phone showed 47 missed calls from family members, including 12 from my parents. The voicemails ranged from awkward congratulations to desperate attempts at explanation. My mother's final message was particularly revealing. "Seraphina, honey, we need to talk. There have been some misunderstandings about the vacation planning, and we want to clear the air. Please call us back tonight." Misunderstandings. The word encapsulated everything wrong with their approach to family relationships. They could not acknowledge their deliberate exclusion as a mistake, instead framing it as a communication error that could be easily resolved. Their inability to accept responsibility was exactly why this education was necessary. The media coverage exceeded my expectations. The evening news featured a 3-minute segment about the recognition dinner, including footage of my acceptance speech and interviews with prominent attendees praising my work. The Chicago Tribune's website posted a photo gallery that captured every significant moment, while social media exploded with congratulations from business associates and clients. Most importantly, the coverage was generating exactly the community conversation I had hoped to create. Comments on news articles questioned how such a successful young entrepreneur had been overlooked by local business organizations for so long. Several influential community leaders expressed interest in collaborating with my firm on municipal projects. But the real victory was measured in my family's response to witnessing my public recognition. According to Nana Ruth's updates throughout the evening, my parents had progressed through denial, anger, bargaining, and were now settling into depression as they realized the magnitude of their exclusion decision. Their Hawaiian vacation photos, so proudly displayed on social media just days earlier, now looked hollow and exclusionary against the backdrop of my civic recognition. Every sunset, selfie, and family bonding moment was poisoned by the knowledge that they had deliberately excluded someone who deserved celebration far more than they had realized. The evening's success was amplified by strategic timing. While my family struggled to process my achievements, invitations for my grandparents' anniversary celebration were already in circulation. The contrast between their exclusionary vacation and my inclusive family honor would be unmistakable when the weekend arrived. As midnight approached, I finally returned my parents' calls, choosing to address their desperation with the same measured tone I used for difficult clients. "I saw your messages," I said, when my mother answered on the first ring. "I understand you want to discuss some misunderstandings about family celebrations." Her relief was palpable but premature. "Oh, sweetheart, we had no idea about your success. The newspaper article and tonight's ceremony. We are so proud of you. There was a miscommunication about the Hawaii trip, and we want to make everything right." "I appreciate that," I replied, maintaining professional composure. "We can definitely discuss family dynamics this weekend at Nana and Papa's anniversary celebration. I think that would be the perfect setting for a conversation about family values and inclusion." The silence that followed told me everything I needed to know. They were beginning to understand that their education was far from over, and the weekend promised revelations that would complete their transformation from exclusionary parents to humbled family members seeking forgiveness. The aftermath of Tuesday's recognition dinner created a domino effect that exceeded my most optimistic expectations. By Wednesday morning, my parents had entered full damage control mode, desperately trying to reshape the narrative around their Hawaiian exclusion. Their attempts were both pathetic and revealing, exposing the depth of their social anxiety about being perceived as the parents who had failed to recognize their successful daughter's achievements. My mother, Patricia, called me 6 times before 9 a.m., each voicemail more frantic than the last. "Seraphina, people are asking us about why you were not in our Hawaii photos. Your Aunt Dorothy saw the news coverage and wants to know why we never mentioned your business success. We need to coordinate our story about the vacation situation." Coordinate our story. The phrase encapsulated everything toxic about their approach to family relationships. Rather than acknowledging their mistake and accepting consequences, they wanted to collaborate on a fictional narrative that would preserve their reputation while minimizing their responsibility for the exclusion. My father, Robert, took a different approach, sending a formal email that read like a corporate memo. "Dear Seraphina, recent media coverage of your professional achievements has created some confusion within our extended family network. We should schedule a meeting to discuss communication strategies and family coordination moving forward." Their inability to communicate with genuine emotion or vulnerability, even in crisis, demonstrated why they had misunderstood my character so completely. They approached family relationships like business transactions, calculating costs and benefits rather than nurturing authentic connections. The community response was building momentum beyond my control. The Chicago Business Journal published a follow-up article about young entrepreneurs who had achieved success without traditional family business support. The piece positioned me as an inspirational figure who had overcome family skepticism to build an innovative consulting empire. Local television producer Amanda Chen reached out about featuring my story in an upcoming documentary about successful women in business. "Your recognition dinner footage has generated tremendous viewer interest," she explained during our phone conversation. "People are fascinated by your journey from secretive family member to celebrated entrepreneur. Would you consider participating in a longer profile piece?" The media attention was creating exactly the pressure I had hoped to generate. My parents could no longer control the narrative about their family dynamics or dismiss my achievements as exaggerated newspaper reporting. The community was actively celebrating my success while questioning their absence from my professional journey. But the most devastating blow came from an unexpected source. My former college roommate Jessica, now a prominent social media influencer with over 200,000 followers, had attended Tuesday's recognition dinner and posted a lengthy Instagram story about my achievements. Her posts included behind-the-scenes photos from the event and a detailed narrative about my 4-year journey from secretive family disappointment to celebrated business leader. "This woman is absolute goals," Jessica wrote. She built a multi-million-dollar consulting empire while her family thought she was struggling. Instead of flaunting her success or demanding recognition, she quietly helped clients solve impossible problems and built something incredible. The fact that her family excluded her from their vacation because they thought she was unsuccessful is the most ironic thing ever. Sometimes the people closest to us see us least clearly. The post went viral, generating thousands of comments from followers who shared similar stories of family misunderstanding and conditional love. The narrative was spreading far beyond Chicago's business community into national conversations about family dynamics, success, and the danger of making assumptions about people based on limited information. My parents' friends began questioning them directly about their awareness of my achievements. Neighbor conversations became awkward interrogations about why they had never mentioned their daughter's business success. Their social circle was actively judging their parenting and family communication skills, creating exactly the public accountability I had hoped to achieve. Wednesday evening brought the most satisfying development yet. My grandmother called with an update that exceeded my wildest expectations. "Your parents drove over here this afternoon, looking absolutely miserable," she reported with obvious satisfaction. "They wanted to discuss canceling your anniversary celebration, claiming it would be too expensive and elaborate for our simple tastes." The audacity was breathtaking. They had spent thousands on their exclusionary Hawaiian vacation, but wanted to cancel my inclusive celebration for their parents because of cost concerns. Their suggestion revealed their continued failure to understand the fundamental difference between selfish indulgence and generous family honor. "I told them absolutely not," Nana Ruth continued. "I explained that this celebration represents everything their vacation failed to achieve: inclusion, generosity, and genuine family honor. I also mentioned that canceling would require explaining to all the invited guests why they were suddenly unwelcome, which would create even more embarrassing questions about family dysfunction." Their trap was complete. Canceling the anniversary celebration would generate more negative attention than allowing it to proceed, but participating would force them to witness my demonstration of superior family values. Either choice would reinforce the lesson about consequences and family worthiness. Thursday brought news that my father had taken a sick day from work, the first in over 5 years, according to my mother's concerned message. "He is not handling the stress well," she confided during an awkward phone conversation. "People at his office have been congratulating him about your success, and he does not know how to respond when they ask why he never mentioned your achievements." The workplace pressure was particularly brutal for someone who prided himself on professional competence and family leadership. His colleagues were questioning his awareness of his own daughter's career, making him appear disconnected and possibly negligent as a father. My sister Emma provided additional intelligence about their deteriorating situation. "Dad has been researching your company obsessively," she reported during a coffee meeting downtown. "He discovered that you own this building where we are sitting plus those properties in Lincoln Park. Mom found out about your charitable donations to the Children's Hospital and started crying because she realized you have been giving away more money than they make in a year." Their financial discoveries were adding insult to injury. Not only had they excluded a successful family member, but they had excluded someone whose generosity exceeded their entire household income. The contrast between my quiet philanthropy and their flashy vacation spending was highlighting the difference between substance and superficiality in family values. Friday's preparations for the anniversary celebration proceeded with military precision, but my parents' attempts to minimize their attendance were becoming increasingly desperate. My mother suggested they might need to leave early due to my father's health concerns, while he proposed limiting the guest list to immediate family only. Their panic was reaching crescendo levels as Saturday approached. They understood that the anniversary celebration would complete their education in family values, but they could not escape participation without creating even more embarrassing questions about their commitment to honoring their parents. The stage was set for the final act of their education, and their growing desperation told me everything I needed to know about the effectiveness of my strategy. They were about to learn the difference between exclusionary celebration and inclusive family, honor, and the lesson would transform our relationships permanently. Saturday morning dawned crisp and clear, perfect weather for the anniversary celebration that would serve as the final chapter in my family's education. The Chicago Botanic Garden had been transformed into an elegant celebration space that rivaled any resort setting, complete with professional photographers, live musicians, and catering that would make their Hawaiian luau seem like a backyard barbecue. My parents arrived 90 minutes early, clearly hoping to control some aspect of the event they could no longer influence. Their nervous energy was palpable as they surveyed the sophisticated celebration I had orchestrated for their parents, the same parents whose anniversary they had claimed to honor with their exclusionary vacation. Seraphina, this is beautiful, but it seems excessive. My mother, Patricia, commented, her voice tight with anxiety. Nana and Papa would have been happy with something simpler. Her criticism revealed everything wrong with their mindset. They measured love by limitation rather than generosity, viewing elaborate celebration as wasteful rather than honoring. Their Hawaii vacation had been justified as deserved family bonding, but my inclusive celebration was somehow excessive indulgence. I wanted to create something worthy of 60 years of marriage, I replied calmly. Something that includes everyone who loves them regardless of financial constraints or family politics. The guest list was arriving throughout the afternoon, and the diversity was striking. Family members who had been excluded from Hawaii due to cost were elegantly dressed and genuinely excited to celebrate. Community leaders who respected my grandparents' contributions added dignity to the occasion. My business associates and clients brought sophistication that elevated the entire gathering. But the most powerful element was the surprise I had arranged for the celebration's centerpiece. Professional videographers had been capturing testimonials from guests throughout the afternoon, creating a documentary-style tribute to my grandparents' 60-year marriage that would preserve their legacy far beyond any vacation photos. The testimonials were revealing family history that my parents had never bothered to learn. Community leaders spoke about my grandfather's volunteer work during the economic recession of the 1980s. Family friends shared stories about my grandmother's decades of caring for elderly neighbors. Extended relatives described how my grandparents had provided financial support during their difficult periods, always quietly and without expectation of recognition. Your grandparents have been the heart of this community for 6 decades, explained Dr. Martinez, their longtime physician who had become a family friend. They have demonstrated that true wealth lies in relationships and service rather than material accumulation. The implicit contrast with my parents' values was unmistakable. While they had celebrated their financial ability to exclude family members, my grandparents had spent decades including people and providing support without fanfare or social media documentation. Senator Patricia Williams attended the celebration, personally presenting my grandparents with an official State of Illinois proclamation, recognizing their community service. It is rare to find couples who have devoted their lives so completely to family and community, she announced to the gathered crowd. Their legacy of inclusion and generosity should inspire us all. The proclamation ceremony was broadcast live on local television, ensuring that my parents' friends and colleagues would witness their parents being honored by state government while questioning why they had never heard these stories about community service and family leadership. My father, Robert, struggled visibly throughout the afternoon, particularly when business leaders approached him with congratulations about my success. His responses were awkward and revealing, exposing his ignorance about my professional achievements to people who were genuinely impressed by my work. I had no idea your daughter was such an innovator in crisis management, commented Thompson Industries CEO Richard. Her work with our company was extraordinary. You must be incredibly proud of her entrepreneurial vision. My father's response was painful to witness. Yes, well, Seraphina has always been very private about her work. We are still learning about her achievements ourselves. The admission of ignorance about his own daughter's career was broadcast to exactly the audience whose respect he craved: successful business leaders who valued family relationships and professional mentorship. His reputation as an engaged father was crumbling in real time, but the celebration's most emotional moment came when my grandmother stood to address the gathering. 60 years of marriage has taught me that family is not defined by blood alone, but by commitment, inclusion, and unconditional love. She began, her voice strong, despite her advanced age. Some family members are born to us, others are chosen through friendship and shared values. The people gathered here today represent both kinds of family: those connected by genetics and those connected by genuine care and mutual respect. Her words were a masterclass in diplomatic criticism, acknowledging biological family while celebrating chosen family. The message was clear to anyone who understood the context. True family includes rather than excludes, celebrates rather than diminishes, and honors rather than ignores. The videographer captured testimonials from over 30 guests, creating a comprehensive tribute that would preserve my grandparents' legacy permanently. But more importantly, the project had revealed family history and community connections that my parents had never bothered to explore or appreciate. As evening approached and the celebration wound down, my parents approached me with expressions of defeat rather than gratitude. "We need to talk," my father said quietly, his usual commanding tone replaced by something approaching humility. "We understand now that we made a serious mistake with the Hawaii planning." My mother added, her voice barely above a whisper. "We had no idea about your success, and we completely misunderstood your priorities and values." Their apology was a start, but I had learned too much about their character to accept it at face value. "The mistake was not about Hawaii specifically," I replied calmly. "It was about making assumptions, excluding family members, and celebrating in ways that diminish rather than honor relationships." The conversation that followed was the most honest our family had ever experienced. They admitted their financial struggles, their jealousy of my perceived freedom, their resentment about my privacy regarding work. But most importantly, they acknowledged that their exclusion had been based on their own insecurities rather than my unworthiness. "We created a narrative about your life that made us feel better about our own struggles," my father admitted. "Excluding you from Hawaii was not about money or space. It was about maintaining our illusion that we were the successful family members while you were the struggling one." Their honesty was painful but necessary. The Hawaii exclusion had been psychological self-defense rather than financial necessity, and their education had forced them to confront their own character flaws rather than projecting inadequacy onto me. 6 months later, our family dynamics had transformed completely. My parents had entered therapy to address their communication patterns and relationship insecurities. Family gatherings became inclusive celebrations rather than exclusive demonstrations of worthiness. Most importantly, they had learned to measure success by contribution and character rather than material accumulation and social positioning. The anniversary celebration video became a family treasure that we watch annually, reminding us of the difference between superficial celebration and meaningful family honor. My business has continued growing, but now my family understands and celebrates my achievements rather than feeling threatened by them. But the most valuable outcome was discovering my grandmother's wisdom about chosen family alongside biological connections. The relationships I built during this experience with community leaders, business associates, and family friends have enriched my life far beyond any professional recognition or financial success. Looking back, their exclusion from Hawaii was the best thing that ever happened to our family relationships. It forced us to examine our values, communication patterns, and definitions of worthiness. The education was painful but necessary, transforming us from a family that celebrated conditionally into one that honors inclusively. So let me ask you this. Have you ever experienced family betrayal that ultimately led to positive transformation? Has karma ever delivered justice in your life in ways that surprised you? I would love to hear your stories about family dynamics and the lessons you learned when people underestimated your worth. If this story of family revenge and ultimate redemption resonated with you, please hit that like button and share it with anyone who needs to hear about the power of quiet success over loud exclusion. Subscribe for more stories about how truth always emerges and justice always prevails, even when family bonds are tested by jealousy and misunderstanding. Thank you for joining me on this journey through family betrayal and ultimate vindication. Remember that your worth is not determined by other people's recognition, but sometimes teaching that lesson requires demonstrating exactly what they chose to exclude from their lives. May your families celebrate your achievements rather than diminish them, and may you always choose inclusion over exclusion. When building the relationships that matter most,